Here now to react is Karl Rove, former Deputy Chief of Staff under President George W. Bush. He is also a Fox News contributor. So what struck so many people when they heard that, and I heard people here in the studio saying at the same time, they felt, I did this and I'm sorry they felt that way. That's not an apology. That's not a, that's like, if I offended you, I'm sorry. That's not, it's not an apology. And I think most of America hears that. What do you think? How's he doing so far, in your opinion, Karl?
Not too well. I think you're right. It's, I'm sorry if you were offended at behavior that wasn't inappropriate and wasn't, you know, out of the norm. I mean,
yeah. I hug a lot of people and take a lot of pictures.
Yeah, exactly. And look, it also is a little bit disingenuous because it detracts from the thing that started all this, which is him forcing his intentions upon a celebrity, insisting that they practice a kiss that they were going to use in a USO skit, and then acting in a terribly inappropriate way, and then afterwards taking a childish, infantile, and insulting photograph of him on an airplane while the woman in question was asleep, as if he was massaging her upper chest. And I mean, Al Franken, he'd rather be talking about I tend to hug people than the original incident that brought all this to our attention.
So another comment that didn't really, you know, pass the smell test for people out there, Nancy Pelosi. Listen to this.
Was it one accusation? Is it two? I think there has to be. John Conyers is an icon in our country. He has done a great deal to protect women.
He's done a great deal to protect women, and then the parade comes out of people who were degraded and, you know, treated horribly. And I think one of the biggest problems here, of course, is that Nancy Pelosi has always fashioned herself as someone who is a champion and protector of women. And when she comes out and says that in the face of the facts that the public has heard, it is also like Al Franken, who claims himself to be on the side of women and then not really apologizing for what he did. What comes of all of this, Karl?
Well, you know, it's in a way, Nancy Pelosi's leadership was, she had two demands on her. One was to do something about the terrible accusations against Congressman Conyers, and at the same time ease this senior Democrat, the ranking Democrat on the House Judiciary Committee, out of his position. So what she did was inartful. She declares him to be an icon, praising him to the skies. At the same moment, she's telling him, you have to leave your position as the ranking member for the Democrats on the House Judiciary Committee. Certainly, there was a more artful way for her to have said something about him while pushing him out. But I mean, it just shows the duplicity and a little bit of, more than a little bit of hypocrisy going on here.
So, Karl, you say the right word, because this is all about hypocrisy. That's why so much of this is really frustrating and disgusting to so many people out there. One of the responses that everyone on all sides, you know, I've heard it equally on all sides, they pivot and point to the person on the other side who has also done something disgusting. That too is not one of the defenses that works very well. Would you tell people to stop doing that?
Yeah, because look, I mean, all these people who were defending Bill Clinton having an affair with a White House intern, barely into her 20s, in a hallway outside the Oval Office, all those Democrats who were quick to defend him went after Roy Moore, I think appropriately, and now they are finding ways to defend many of them, Congressman Conyers and Senator Franken. And I say a pox on all their houses. President Clinton was wrong to have done what he did in the Oval Office. If Senator Franken was wrong to have done what he did and is admitted to, Judge Moore was, in my opinion, I find the women accusers of him highly credible, even though he's a Republican and a conservative. And Congressman Conyers, I think we're going to hear from what friends tell me on Capitol Hill, we're likely to hear a lot more going back a lot longer time about his antics. All of this, these are people in a position of public trust, and they behaved and misbehaved badly and ought to be held to account.
Karl Rove, thank you. See you soon.